it's evident
He's a
in
good
his
actor.
face. It's evident in his face and in his voice. He's got now the old man's voice. But oh, he
And now a word from our sponsor, Gerry's Wholesale Sausage Emporium. Are retail hot dog prices making you crazy? Come on down to Gerry's for all your discount dog needs. Was this really the best we could do?
Blue Apron passed.
Okay, let's get vulnerable, Langley. Let's get sexy. First caller gets 11 feet of Gerry's signature summer sausage.
Yeah. I was trying to start the show and you guys having this conversation. I had to interrupt. I'm like, oh, there's not going to be a break here. They're just going to keep.
I just want to warn our audience. Gary's Sausage Emporium doesn't have that much length of sausage.
Yeah, that's a lie. Mephisto, we don't read hieroglyphs.
Ouch! That was rude.
No idea what that means.
I have no idea.
I learned to write my name in that writing when I was in school, but I forgot.
Hieroglyph. Oh, we have Glenn.
Hi, Glenn.
Yeah, I just opened up the Hebrew alphabet, so yeah, I have no idea what he said. No clue.
Well, whatever it is, I'm sure, really sure, it's something nice.
Yeah. Would be even nicer if it was here.
Working, but listening. Good morning, Glenn. Hope everybody has had a good weekend.
Oh, and we have Emmanuel. Good morning, Emmanuel. Oh, well, no, you're not.
Emmanuel.
What did I say?
Emmanuel.
Fuck off.
It's sort of like, I wrote my essay. Emmanuel.
I may be closer than you, considering that her language and my language come from the same root.
Latin.
You're just guessing.
As always.
Well,
she can let us know who's closer.
By the way, where is Regis? We have missed Regis for like a month now. We haven't seen him.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's been a long time, but the last time, Regis is on, Martin had a full head of hair. Man.
Oh, he's at work.
He has one of those things they call a jorb. So, I cannot have anything red up to 3 days before my procedure.
That's in 10 days, though.
No.
You still have time.
No red Jello. No red drinks.
Oh, I thought you were talking about red meat.
No, I can't have anything with red color in it.
Gotcha.
And there's no meat anyway. I'm on a liquid diet for like 5 days.
Oof.
That sounds fun.
You didn't switch to English, you lazy bastard.
So what did you say, Matt? Care to translate?
I can't come on today, so I'll just watch. That's what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys.
Saw this film around the same time I saw Kelly's Heroes. Late 1970. Kelly's Heroes is better. It's a more fun film. This film, it just felt like it didn't know what it was going to be. And my problem with the film is they're kind of doing things that the SAS did. And that's what they're supposed to kind of be, Special Forces, SAS. And SAS didn't have the problems that these characters have in the film. So that was the problem. There is the director, because they went through, technically, they went through one director, and he quit and or was fired. And the producer stepped up to direct the film. And there was a constant conflict between the director and producer Harry Saltzman, because Harry Saltzman wanted a fucking fun war film, whereas the director didn't. He wanted something that was poetic. And so what we got was dark. It's a very nihilist kind of film.
Yeah,
I mean, that's about. It's kind of a nihilist film. It's very dark, and bad things just keep happening. And clearly one of the most important moments in the film is when Michael Caine's character, Michael Caine, his character is forced to not help British troops that were following, and they get bombarded by the Germans, and they just sat there and watched these Germans set up with their mortars and everything. And those Germans have no idea that the SAS team is there. They think that the team that killed those Arabs are on their way. And so they're setting up to ambush them, not knowing that the English are there and could easily have ambushed them, but they probably have all gotten killed anyway, because they're outnumbered by the Germans. They're also better firepower. So the second in command stops him from firing his weapon, which was a terrible weapon. A fucking pistol. You're going to shoot at 50 yards with a...
No, I think he was going to warn. The shot was to warn the...
But he was going to get everybody killed.
Oh, yeah.
And so and there's an interesting story to the behind the scenes on this, because basically they had built a team which included having what's his name, Richard Harris involved. And Richard Harris, it's hard to say, because we get two different comments on this. And Anima, you can jump in anytime because you read this too. But Richard Harris was brought onto the film, and according to Wikipedia, he quit because he felt that the script that he was shown and had agreed to be part of wasn't the film they were going to shoot. Now
that is his version. That is his version. One of his colleagues said he refused to get the military haircut, and that's why he was kicked out. And I find that quite believable, because we've discussed a couple of older war movies where they have the Hollywood hairstyle and everything because they're vain.
Well,
because they're actors.
The Stars of Stripes,
yeah.
Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. Everybody else got the military haircut except for those two for some reason.
So it's not that unbelievable that was the reason why he got kicked out. But of course he wouldn't.
And so there's a really good chance, I believe, that that's probably likely, that he got shit canned. And then he did successfully sue them for his money.
Oh.
He did get his money. $150,000.
Hey, Penny. Hey, Smart.
So originally, they had, I just forgot his name. Give me a second. It's, oh my God. I just fucking had the information and I fucking let it go. Sorry.
Oh, well, that sort of thing happened.
Because Nigel Green was attached, and Nigel Davenport got brought on board to play Nigel Green's part, and everybody got bumped over because they brought Michael Caine on to play Captain Douglas, the British officer. And he once again, Michael Caine pulls off a posh English accent. He doesn't talk like he's from the East End of London.
He sounds very posh, yeah.
And that was done on purpose for playing the part. But Nigel Davenport was brought on to play the secondary character, and so it's interesting casting because you got like Harry Andrews is in a bit part. He's the general that's commanding Allied missions in the area. He's a desk warrior. And then you got Nigel Green, who plays Colonel Masters, who's out in the field, but he doesn't go out on the missions. And he ends up being sort of the, like I said, it's a very cynical film. He ends up betraying his men in the film, which would never fucking happen in the real SAS. Those guys are hardcore. And you see that if you watch Rogue Warriors, how the SAS began. It's a halfway decent show. It's got some woke bullshit in it, but they managed to pull off some badass shit at the same time. They do a fairly good job of depicting what these guys did, but I think it's more accurate than this film was to what the SAS did over there. They were far more successful than what is played out in this film. They act like, Monty is who won the war there in Africa, that the SAS didn't do shit. If you pay attention to the dialogue, that's what they're saying. And that's bullshit. If it weren't for the SAS, Monty would have had his ass handed to him in Africa.
Real SAS would also not have wasted a vehicle like that. But just being stupid and half-assing.
Oh, you see a bunch of stupid shit.
The Montgomery's name was propped up by everyone. He even took credit for things that Patton did. So.
Oh yeah, it's just this film was historically inaccurate as hell, despite having some really good combat scenes. It's just full of shit. And the funny one is when they lost their officers, he lost an entire team, and I'm like, that's bullshit. That didn't happen like that. So Nigel Davenport shows up with his dead lieutenant. He says, "Yeah, I brought back your lieutenant," or whatever the fuck he was, and he's dead. And that's sort of the way it goes. So in the end, it is true that they hired a lot of troublemakers, like the Dirty Dozen. That's kind of what the early SAS was. They're just all troublemakers. And in fact, the Irishman that was brought in, he was brought in specifically because he was a troublemaker. And he ended up taking command of the SAS when their commander actually got captured. And so I highly recommend, if you want to know at least the basic story of the SAS, watch Rogue, whatever it's called, SAS from the BBC. It's actually halfway decent, fairly accurate on events and names and what happened to the guys. But then they throw in this female spy who gets way too involved in things, and it's like, no, that didn't happen. It's not like there weren't women that fought in war. It's just not in that story. Oh, he was a complete douche nozzle. And if you want to see a fairly accurate depiction of him, watch Patton. Because even the English would go, yeah, that was him. That was him.
By the way, Glenn has an interesting string of comments here. And
yeah, absolutely. He always does. His dad was a commando.
So you have SAS was known as the long range. His dad was in the SAS. In the desert group, Glenn?
He just said that, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Willis. That's an
Yep, the Willys
stubborn.
Jeep, and they have one in the movie, but I thought it was really weird that they're trying to disguise as an Italian unit, and they're driving around in a fucking American Willys Jeep. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I guess in war times, people steal equipment. So.
Well, of course they did, but I don't believe for a second the Italians stole a goddamn thing from us. Germans, yes, not the Italians. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I know Glenn knows what I'm talking about. That the SAS did a far, if not for the SAS, Monty would have had his ass handed to him by the Germans.
Look, it's Nerdist commentary.
It was the behind the, yeah, I went commando once, but that's another story. I go commando all the time, my friend.
Well, you would think that bears are in commando mode all the time.
There you go. The Italians were too busy retreating. Goddamn right. If anything, that's all they would have gotten their hands on to is possibly some British and definitely German. But they wouldn't have gotten anything American over there. And I thought that was strange that they're driving around in that. And it's made to look like an Italian vehicle. It's an American Jeep. Always bare naked. By the way, Snort, did you get my birthday wish over on Facebook the other day? Italian vehicles had 12 gears. 4 forward, 8 reverse.
Ouch!
Are you sure that was Italian and not just French? Sorry, Emmanuel.
No. French just have stop neutral.
The Italians actually had a joke about them. Did you ever see the Italian training for mine detection?
No. Oh my
It's
God.
2 fingers in the ear and the tiptoe tapping around. That was one of my favorite
Welcome, Todd Jones.
That was one of my
Hey,
favorite jokes. World War II jokes was that one. Yeah, no commando. You just see the shirt. So, but anyway, I did enjoy this film, despite all that. I guess I can get into some of the history on this. So, not going to read you the plot, but I will tell you the development. The film was originally titled Written in the Sand. That was the original title for the film. It was announced in October 1967 with Michael Caine to star with Renee. And that's wrong, because he was not announced in 67. Michael Caine star and Renee Clement to direct. Caine later said that he made the film because of his relationship with producer Harry Saltzman, of course, who did the Harry Palmer films, and the fact he wanted to work with Clement as a director. The film was also known as Deadly Patrol. In February of 68, Richard Harris, see, you can't say 67 in the previous one and then say Richard Harris in 68, because Richard Harris was originally signed and Nigel Davenport signed on to co-star. So it was going to be Richard Harris and Nigel Davenport, by which the film had been renamed at that point to Play Dirty. However, Richard Harris ultimately did not appear in the film. That's because he was fired. According to Toth, Lottie Collin, who is mentioned as a co-writer on the script, actually had nothing to do with it, really. She is Harry Saltzman's mother-in-law. So he just wanted to get her name in the credits. The film was originally planned by Saltzman to be filmed in Israel. Saltzman asked André Toth to scout the country for locations. Toth said Clement wanted to film in Morocco and Algeria, but Saltzman refused to do it in North Africa, and Clement refused for some reason to do it in Israel. The film ended up being shot on location in Tabernas Desert near Tabernas in Almeria, Spain. Richard Harris left his home in London for Spain on the 16th of February. Michael Caine is not involved at this point. He said he was handed a script which was different from the one he had agreed to do when he signed on. He quit the film and sued the producers for payment of his salary, which was reported to be £150,000. Now, after Nigel Davenport replaced Harris, Nigel Green replaced Davenport, and René Clement resigned as director, and executive producer André de Toth took over directing the film. De Toth said Clement wanted to make a poetry war film, while Saltzman wanted a blazing guns and roaring tanks. Several other films were shooting in Almeria at the same time, including Shalako. Caine later said, quote, "There are 6 sand dunes." Actually, it's 8, right? Or is it 4?
4.
4 sand dunes in Almeria. And he continued by saying, "We'd all come around the hill chasing Rommel's tanks, and there's horse shit all over the desert, and a stagecoach in other directions being chased by Indians." The other film units were forever wiping out the tank tracks to get their westerns, and we were forever shoveling up their horse shit and wiping out hoof prints off the dunes to get our Alamein. End quote. Caine later said that he had a clause put in every contract that any film on which he will be working could not be made in Almeria.
He hated filming there.
He said, quote, "It was that bad," end quote. So de Toth, who went from executive producer to director, later said that in making the film, quote, "I wanted to rub our noses in the mess that we had created and how we shy away from our ability to clean it up. I wanted to disturb, to open closed eyes and scramble brains," end quote. And by doing so, he completely shit all over actual history with the film, which is the most annoying thing. Again, the film was a box office disappointment. Critics had mixed to negative opinions. Stanley Eichelbaum of the San Francisco Examiner noting the opposite attitude towards the war expressed by various filmmakers, either as, quote, anti-war, end quote, or exploiting the greater story, the greater glory of the war, end quote. But he said that Play Dirty was, well, that it tries to satisfy both viewpoints and trips upon itself so badly. And I have to agree with it. Now, oddly, if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, and I always tell you, pay attention to what the audience score is. Ignore the fucking critics, because the critics are paid to give their opinion. It is a 100% tomato meter with only 5 reviews. Whereas with the audience, there's over 500 reviews or ratings, and it has a score of still 62, which is 2 points above failing. Well, 3 points above failing.
So
because anything 60 and above is like getting a D in high school. Yeah, you pass, but you pass by the skin of your teeth.
Do better next time.
Yeah, do better next time. So, and that's pretty much it. That's all I really have on it. I just find it interesting that the westerns that were being shot while they were making this film kept fucking them up and ruined it really for them, because it wasn't just because if they just had to clean up the horse tracks, that would have been fine. But they had to clean up all that horse shit. Now, this is the opening where the officer dies. And Michael Caine wants to know, because he thinks that you can tell his character thinks that either Nigel's men or Nigel himself killed the officer. And so he says, how did the previous officers die? And he said, suddenly.
Unexpectedly. Unexpectedly. So where to use?
And I just thought that was fucking funny. And the only thing that saves this film is the performance of these two men. Because Nigel's great. And if you didn't know this, Nigel is the actor who was the original voice of the Emperor, Nigel Davenport.
Oh.
He was the original voice of Emperor Palpatine in The Empire Strikes Back before the special versions were made. There's Nigel Green. And there's Andrews. Andrews, you've seen him, this guy, in so many British films. And he almost always plays a pompous ass because he's good at it. I don't know if he was a pompous ass. I just know he was really good at playing pompous ass. And what's really fun here is, Nigel Green comes in and tells him, well, I've got these Arabs and they know how to use their Brownie cameras that we gave them. They took all these photos showing this port and we're going to go in there and we're going to destroy this with just a handful of men and lead the way for Monty to get through, which is actually what happened. That's what the SAS did. And, but the minute he pushes Davenport out of the room, or Green out of the room, another superior officer walks in and he begins to tell him that that's his plan and that he had the Arabs take it's showing, so it's trying to do what Catch-22 does, showing the ineffectiveness and the stealing that officers would do. And actually, that's not really what happened here at all. But some officers absolutely did take credit for it, which is what they show in the Rogue Warriors series about the SAS. Shows how the way that they were convinced to let them do what they were going to do, said, you don't have to supply us. We will steal everything we get. All you have to do is pay for us to go there and pay the regular wages of what you pay a soldier. It's a no-lose scenario. If we fuck up, we just die. And so the senior officers are like, yeah, we're good with this. Yeah, it's a good deal.
Since they were rogues, the payment wasn't probably that good anyway. So not much
Sidney
to lose.
Lumet. Yeah, or Lumet, as some people call him, but I liked him. Yeah, I consider Kelly's Heroes kind of satire.
Kelly's Heroes.
And I like that film. And I do like that film, Kelly's Heroes.
Yeah,
Bullshit,
you just have to
loosely
ignore that they are way
on
too old.
Yeah, they're all like, well, all of them were actual veterans. So, of course, they were too old. But Sidney Lumet was, hold on, the next one, God damn it. I've always seen Harry in The Charge of the Light Brigade, 1968. Good film, dude. We should do that one too. I like that film. Harry Andrews played Grand Duke Nicholas. Hey, he was in a film that I really liked a lot. I still love a very black, dark comedy called The Ruling Class, and he plays the Archduke or whatever he was that accidentally hangs himself wearing a ballerina outfit.
What?
Yeah, he puts on a tutu, climbs up on the foot chest, the chest at the bottom of the bed, steps on it, puts his neck into this decorated fucking noose, and he strangles himself. And then he goes back and catches his feet on the thing, but he stumbles and fucking actually hangs himself.
That is fucked up way to go.
And Peter O'Toole is the heir to this dynasty. And he's insane. He's in a mental institution because he thinks he's Jesus. So they bring him home. His name is John, and he thinks he's Jesus. And they have a psychiatrist working with him that's going to teach him that he is John and not Jesus. But by the end of the film, he becomes convinced that he should be called Jack, and he is actually now Jack the Ripper.
Okay.
Kills the doctor, and He kills one of the other girls in the film. It's a crazy fucking movie. I love that movie.
Sounds crazy.
I'd like to address this.
Now, Denholm Elliott was married.
Pauline Kael said,
I don't know if Denholm was gay. I know that he died of complications from AIDS, but it's been said that his was because he was treated medically, he had surgery, and had gotten tainted blood. Harry is ice cold in Alex. He's not pompous at all. Brilliant film. Hi, Todd Jones. Hi, Tom Baker. Good morning, guys. Gambit 87 is here too. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good Monday morning. So we've talked a little trivia about this film. Now let's get into it. I like this scene because he says, I like a whiskey. Don't have whiskey. Could I have a beer? He says, we have no beer. What do you have? And he goes, we have tea. So he hands him a fucking, what looks like a double shot glass of tea. And there's a fucking fly in it.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that Nigel Davenport drinks his, but Caine just sets his down and never drinks it, even though the guy takes the fly out. So not only did the fly land in there, he put his fingers in it to pull the fly out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not drinking that.
Not be drinking that. And he's grumpy.
And in that one scene, you can tell he's a proper Englishman. That he's not going to have that.
What's
Whereas,
he mean?
Yeah, well, Davenport is a former prisoner. You know, so he's fine with drinking anything, with flying or what have you. He doesn't care.
Well, he's also cool with going on this mission. Michael Caine is really not. He's an office guy. Now he has to lead this mission.
Well, he's specifically done a job where everything was handed to him. He had a very comfortable command position. And now he's been sent out into the field. He looks at it as like a form of punishment. And he makes it clear here, I'm in command of this mission. And Nigel Davenport just sort of chuckles at him. Like, you're not in command of this mission.
They are constantly butting heads because he doesn't respect Michael Caine's character very much.
At all.
And he's only keeping him alive because he's worth £2,000.
Well, I just want to point out, I have eaten like a pile of insects in my food when we were out on FTX in the swamps. And people are trying to pick the bugs out. I'm like, fuck, I want to eat my food while it's hot. So I just would just shovel the food in and not look at it. And was eating bugs with it.
Dude, we have to do Nighthawks.
Well, it's on the list. It's one of them I'd like to do on Wednesday or even Friday because I love that movie. Rutger Hauer, Billy D. Williams, Stallone, Nigel Davenport. Come on, man. That's a great movie.
Great cast, for sure.
Yeah, that was brought up previously, Gwen, because I was unaware of that. Not surprised. There are a lot of poofs in the theater. I was always shocked to find out that Olivier wasn't. That he was he liked women a lot. And I always liked his wife. She was a really good actor too. Olivier's. I forget her name right offhand. But she's in a movie with Home Elliott and called Brimstone and Treacle. And the film is only ruined by one thing, Sting's acting. Sting is a terrible actor. But I still love the movie. I love that movie.
Well,
Sting needs to stick to music.
Like his
really.
fade router. His hardcore was on point.
Swallow the load. Oh my God.
Oh God, guys. You know Penny is here, right? Behave.
Now, Nigel Davenport never struck me as. He always struck me as very masculine. So if he was gay, he was what you would call a bear. I always liked Davenport.
Why do people care so much about that? That is so private.
He was married to Vivian Lee. He was also a skirt chaser. Rumors abound about him and Marilyn. But then he married Susan Plow. Was that it? All right, Susan. All right, is that it? I'm trying to dig into the recesses of my brain for that name, and she's his widow. You know, she was married with him all the way to his death. Now, Denholm had a very private marriage, so you know it wasn't something that was in the tabloids or anything. And so I've always just assumed if he was bi, if anything, because he had kids and had a good marriage. Oh my God!
Oh, bad
you've watched too much Family Guy. Joan Plowright. So I was really close. Okay, excellent. Yeah, she's a very good actor.
That's some surname there.
What, Plowright?
Yeah.
Yeah. At least you know she wasn't plowed wrong.
My fucking God.
Now that's an interesting line, and this is one I think was just the opinion of the last script that was overseen by the producer director and Toth, and that war is a criminal enterprise, which is not accurate. It's one thing. It's a criminal enterprise when it's waged on you, but when you fight back, it's not a criminal enterprise. It's self-defense. And the British absolutely were defending their existence. In Mutiny on the Bounty, Lawton unintentionally played Captain Bligh as openly gay. That's interesting. Really? I don't remember that. Now, Lawton being gay didn't bother me. What bothered me with Lawton is that he was a fecophiliac.
Ew.
And he even ate a shit sandwich.
Ew.
Just fucked in the head. He was nuts.
That's sick.
You think?
Yeah, Plowright sounds like a Bond character, right?
That's true.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. Right?
Oh,
I'm not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Oh my God. Todd is in a
loud frequently.
Streak here. Oh no.
Oh my God. He's on a roll.
So there it is. Got a fucking Willys Jeep right there. Like, how are you going to convincingly show that as an Italian vehicle? And by the way, I do not know what that thing is that he has around his neck. That I didn't quite understand what that thing was.
The thing that he took off, and by that gave away that they're not Italian.
When he took his kerchief off and removed his goggles from around his neck, that little tag with a string through it. I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah,
Glenn,
she
if you have
wasn't a
any idea
dog
what
tag.
that is, please share, because
No,
I don't know what that was.
I was hoping you could tell me.
Because I don't know what that was. I have no clue. I've never seen that before. The modern World War II movies use modern Jeeps instead of World War II Willys. Yep, and you can tell the difference.
And why is that?
There was a video I watched the other day that showed a team of 9 guys with just the parts built a Jeep in 3 minutes. That's how simple they were designed.
Why do they
A
go
friend
for
of mine.
modern? Are the old ones not available anymore, or what's behind that?
No,
Well, they
the
stopped
Willys
making
was,
Willys.
well, they were the first iteration of the Jeep. A friend
Yep.
of mine had one.
And I've driven in them. I think they're great. I was a Jeep owner for years. I like Jeeps. But once they started manufacturing the parts for Jeep, it no longer felt like a Jeep anymore. What was awesome about Jeeps was that they were made up of parts from other vehicles. The only
I
thing
don't
that
know, man.
was made
the
by
CJ
Jeep was the body. That was it.
The CJ7 is awesome. I will die on that hill.
Thomas Crown Affair, great soundtrack. I don't know that next one. Not a big fan of Yentl. Summer of 42 is a good one. I know the film Breezy. I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I haven't seen any of these.
Madeline, Summer of 42, great film. Thomas Crown film, great Crown Affair, great movie. Steve McQueen. That was Steve McQueen and what's her name, the crazy bitch. From Bonnie and Clyde.
Farrow?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not Mia Farrow. That from Bonnie and Clyde. That played Bonnie.
that was me, huh?
I don't know.
Okay, but in Clyde, 1977, 67. Faye Dunaway.
Thank you.
Right.
Faye Dunaway, Steve McQueen. That was the original version of Windmills of My Mind, the song. And I thought it was really cool when they did the remake with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo that they had Sting come in and reproduce the song. And I prefer Sting's version. I think it's the better version of the song Windmills of My Mind, or of the Mind. But big fan of that film. I actually really like the newer version, but it's not as good as the original. The original is the original.
Nice, Glenn.
Did you have the big squid-filled death scene? That's like one of the bloodiest scenes ever shown in a movie. Their death. I mean, they were shot by one of the guys carried a BAR.
A what?
And emptied it into that fucking car, and did a reload. By the way, magazine dump and reload. So we're coming up on the scene where they're going to run into this encampment of Arabs, and they're not friendly to the English.
Oh, they killed. So they already killed the Arabs.
Oh, they've already shot him, because this is where he betrayed them, who they were, because he left that tag on, and I don't know what that fucking tag is.
Yes, it doesn't have any marks, nothing. It's just a.
It's just a green tag with like yarn or something to it worn around the neck, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is. They did not explain what it is. Bonjour, mon ami.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
He called him Stink.
That's a bit rude.
Yeah, Peck and Paw. I'm not sure. I think they did it first with Bonnie and Clyde, and then Peck and Paw did it with the Wild Bunch, which a lot of critics called pornographic gore. Critics are such assholes.
Anything to get them attention.
Hey, we have Sander Hammerslide.
Sander is here. What's up? You guys sponsored my stream last night?
What? Care to explain?
What did we do?
I don't know. He did an LOL afterwards, so I'm assuming it's a joke.
We had date night last night.
Yeah, I've already gone over all of that, Gambit. You're just rehashing what I've talked about.
Look at that landscape.
If you watch the film The Highwayman with Kevin Costner and what's his name from Cheers? Woody Harrelson. It's a very good film, by the way. It shows the two men that commanded that group that killed Bonnie and Clyde. And they show the scene in the film, and they show Costner is the one with the BAR. Just dump that fucking weapon into him.
What
they're
is
waiting.
BAR?
And I do want to say,
Browning automatic rifle.
Clyde is not the one who made the move, according to the film. In the film, they say that Bonnie's the one who made the move for a weapon. So she got Clyde killed. Shirt. Oh, awesome, dude. Awesome.
That's
Thanks,
nice.
man.
You rock that shirt, by the way.
By the way, I do want to point out that one of my favorite Draculas is the Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Dan Curtis in 1974. It was a British production, and Nigel Davenport played one of the best versions of Van Helsing. Peter Cushing and Anthony Hopkins are the only two who come close to shining as much as Davenport did as Van Helsing. And by the way, he did serve the British military during the Korean War.
Yes, Sander, it is. And they are weird characters.
They're a couple.
It's like I said, are they just gay, or are they siblings and also gay?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Hassan. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck? It is super one of the weird. Most bizarre things in this film is those two characters. Yeah, and this big fuck up here, Nigel Davenport's the cause of this wreck, where they lose one of the vehicles, and he acts like such a prick about it.
Gambit, no, there's not implicitly. This very explicit, and in fact, it's commented by two other of the characters.
Yeah, what did they say?
They're holding each other's hands all the time. It's just weird.
Yeah, when Davenport is when Green is introducing the whole squad to Caine, and the two guys are intertwined and laughing on each other's faces, and Michael Caine asks, they are all that chummy, and the other say, "Oh yeah, that's the thing between them." This,
Hey, Bill.
Okay, try to do that, Gerry.
Yeah, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not here for your amusement.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, he's here to bully you.
There's probably no indication of their gayness.
No.
Only if you're blind.
Yeah.
I got to say something funny here. I said it like a Mexican in my head. I said Chevys. Those Chevys have German MG34s mounted. I think they would use those.
Why not?
I will say this: whoever was handling that MG with loading it knew what they were fucking doing.
I do believe they could be using the MGs because they are trying to pass for Italian.
No, it's the Germans. It's when the Germans pull up and they're going to do the ambush. You see the guy load one of the MGs, and I mean he loaded it correctly and fast, and I'm like, whoa, they got somebody who knew what the fuck they were doing. Yeah, are you not entertained? Yeah. I went to tell the girl, hey, I'm tired of beating around the bush. You want to go to bed? I got a snort laugh from her from that one.
How fast did she walk away from that?
She didn't walk away.
Oh, low standards then.
That's back when I was young in a band. Were they low riders?
They must have been so hot all the time in that fucking desert.
Yeah, it's so funny when you hear Englishmen do bad German accents. They will absolutely over enunciate Z.
You do that too.
Out of fun, being facetious. Would Anima's cat understand Scots? No.
If they talk about food, he would.
If they're talking with food.
And she's asleep, by the way. That's why you don't hear
her.
her.
It was a modern girl for you, Snort. Gotcha. I was born in the 60s. I remember the 70s.
Tell me you're old without saying I'm old.
Well, the MG 42 is still a hell of a weapon.
People on the Balkans did that too, by the way. They used a lot of World War II equipment, even in the 90s in their war, because it was so good. So why not use it?
Yeah, Eisenhower. Good old Ike. He was a diplomat. He wasn't a commander. So you could actually sing the Police song, "We Were Born in the 50s." '70s wild untamed bush. You goddamn right. And that's it. That's where that wire snapped. And I do like that the realism. He yells, "Get down," when that wire is about to snap. Because and they show the wire swing over top of it. Because I, as a paramedic, I had to treat a guy who got cut in half by one of those braided wires, cables that snap and cut him in half. He was dead. His body just hadn't died yet.
They have so much power. I had a guitar string rupture once while I was playing, and that thing sliced my hand.
Yeah, Sidney Furie, he's really not a very good director. His best work was the work with Caine. And I kind of like that movie he made in the 70s, that sci-fi horror film, The Entity. Past that, he's garbage. God, just a garbage director. He made what I have listed in my top 10 worst war films ever made was by him. American Soldier was the name of it. It was terrible. I don't know, but it sounds like a 70s porn.
Could be.
And what's funny is like Sean Connery was kind of into that at first, and Richard Harris and Michael Caine talked about that shit. He had trouble with that. He was what do they call it? A chronic monogamist. He liked relationships. And he met his woman right about 1969, 1970, right in that area. She was in a coffee commercial. And he was like, tells his best mate, I'm going to Brazil. I've got to go meet this woman. He goes, from the commercial? No, she lives right here. She like lives blocks away from us. So he met her and fell in love with her, and they're married to this fucking day.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Sidney Furie was a fucking cunt. No. Excuse me, guys. It's my doctor. I'll be right back.
Of course they call him when he's live. Impeccable timing.
Well.
At least they're calling him back.
Mm.
This landscape, man, it looks like the fucking moon. But someone said in the chat earlier that they visited the place and that it's nice there. So I don't know.
Yes,
maybe they filmed the shitty part. Glenn, that's right, yeah.
I cannot confirm nor deny that statement.
I can deny that this call is not about that appointment. This is about his blood sugar sensor.
Come on. Don't ruin it for the fun.
Not everything needs to be backdoor. I mean, really, guys, you're fixated.
Yes, don't call us. We'll call you. And these are the British that Gerry were talking about that they are about to get ambushed.
All right. I have to go into the doctor tomorrow because my diabetic sensor, it failed. And once it fails, you can't like reboot it or do anything. You just got to take it off. And when I took it off, the little needle that sticks into my arm was gone. And I couldn't find it. And so they need to look to see if it's somehow stuck still inside my arm because you can't leave those in. It's dangerous.
I would be very surprised if it was in. You would have a reaction.
I mean, now, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of something right now. I can't do it. So let's try it tomorrow. There we go. That's so. The fucking Jeeps in this just kill me. And I love the Jeep, but I'm like, this is a British film. Come on, man. You can see the doc very quickly in UK. Oh, it's a fucking nightmare. I know it is, man.
You usually have to wait too, though.
The National Health Services is just, great. I love this shot of the mortar right there. You caught that. So I'm glad you caught that. This is one of my favorite moments in the film, showing that mortar firing. And by the way, the angle that's at, you're shooting at an object that's probably 50 yards to 75 yards away. And they showed that accurately. I'm like, well, they got that right.
They had a good advisor, it seems. And these explosions were a little too fiery for me.
Which is odd for the 60s, because they tended to be the more explosive debris, which is more realistic because you see them there. But the gas explosion that you are seeing are the vehicles.
Yeah, but it's not just
and
the vehicle
what's
explosions
dangerous
that have
about
fire.
vehicles exploding in the desert is a lot of times you're low on gas, and so you've got a tank full of fumes, and that makes them very explosive. This guy is so creepy to me. I can't stand that guy. He's always fucking smiling. He sees something bad happening and he smiles, and it's like, I like to bash that guy's fucking head in. The hype I get is from Britain. I don't pay attention to news about Britain from anywhere else. I read the National Health Service's, was it 2011? I think they did it. It was either 2010 or 2011. They did this national poll, and the polls were done two different ways. One, polls were sent into the homes of British citizens, and the other ones were done in person outside of clinics after somebody had seen their doctor. And it was 40, 60, 60, 40. The 40-60 was disapproval, and that was the one that was done from the home. And the approval was 60-40 from people who just saw their doctor, because once they see the doctor, they get great treatment. But I do know that the statistics are exactly the same as it is with the VA here in the United States. Exactly the same, because the statistics are exactly the same. And that's not from some bullshit poll I read. It was from you guys. When they filmed All Quiet on the Western Front in 1930, they planted dynamite in the ground to simulate shelling. Well, they did that with the movie The Train, too. They used dynamite because it's more realistic. It doesn't have the big fireballs. No, they don't. It all depends on where it hits. If there's loose fuel, you'll get it. Or if they hit the tank directly and that tank is full of fumes, you'll get a big fireball out of that. The lasting fire is only from spent oil, transmission fluid, or gasoline. And that's when you see vehicles burning. Yeah, the 1930 film is really fantastic. Bill Barkley, you mean the Fast and the Furious is all bullshit?
No shit, Sherlock.
Yep. That is one of my favorite moments where he stands up to the team. And Nigel Davenport goes, they're aiming their weapons right back at him. And he says, I think he's serious, boys. And so they go off and start doing what he said, burying the fucking dead. Because it's because of them not burying the Arabs earlier is what got that British team killed. They caused the death of those Brits. And so when you stop and think about it, this officer who Davenport doesn't respect, every single time he has suggested something and they ignored him, something bad happened. And it's just like Davenport doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't. He doesn't care. All he cares about is that Caine stays alive, so he gets his money.
And I wouldn't mind doing Lawrence of Arabia sometime, because it is a great film. I have my problems with David Lean. I don't like Bridge on the River Kwai because it's a lie. It's a fucking lie. They make a British officer look like he was the collaborator, when we all know it was the French that collaborated at that camp. And of course, it was a French author that wrote the book, Pierre Buell, who wrote Bridges of the River Kwai, because it was bridges. It wasn't a single bridge. And And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to show the French as the collaborators in that camp. I'm not surprised because I've heard some stories about her, Tom Baker. She was constantly going after Cary Grant. I love the French. Don't get me wrong. I don't like Parisians for the most part, mostly because so many shitty attitudes in Paris. But I do love the French. But they do have that nickname, frogs. And they're subjects now. They're so's Britain, England. You guys are subjects again to a government. It sucks. I was one phone call away from joining the French Foreign Legion at one point back in the 90s. And it's my dad that stopped me.
How?
I'm from Illinois, and we actually go frog gigging as kids. And yeah, I've eaten tons of frog legs. Tons of them. They're really good. I have never would eat snails. They're gross. My response then, you'll get your $2,000. You better keep me alive. Yeah, it's like this guy's intentionally driving over the rocks.
Yeah.
It's like every single fucking rock, he steers into it.
That had to be on purpose because he didn't miss a single rock on that street.
I like that movie, Bill. I like that movie. I'm also friends with the director. He's somebody I should probably get on sometime. He's getting old. He's in his 70s now.
You know so many cool
people. No, we killed him. It's the only thing edible on the fucking frog is the legs, the back legs. There's a lot of meat
but
on
why would you cut them off while the frog is still alive? That's fucked up.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. We killed the frogs. The gigging kills them. Use a 3-pointed little spear. Catch them like it's a fork. You catch them and it kills them, and then you put them in the batch, and then later you get back to the house, you cut the legs off. I love that fucking March or Die. I own that movie. I own that movie. By the way, Drew Struzan did the movie poster for that.
Nice.
March or Die, great movie. I saw that at 77. Yeah. I saw that in London. Yeah, Catherine Deneuve.
It's dinner.
Toads, but we have frogs too. I lived in a town with a big river and a lake, and we go to the lake and go gigging for frogs there. You didn't see the frogs much around the river. You would see them around the lake. Yeah, toads tend to be more towards land areas where there's not bodies of water nearby, but we get them there. We get toads all over the place. In fact, we got the great hornback toad here in the United States, down in the Southwest.
That's a weird name.
It's got horns. It's a horny back toad. Yeah, hornback toad. Is that a browning with a water cool on it, or is that a?
Yeah,
it is.
It looks like one.
Yeah, I was trying to look at it. It looks like a browning 30 cal. That's an MG.
They may have taken from the ambush British.
You didn't see many Americans with the water cool portion on the barrel of the 30. Was it a Vicker? Okay, he's saying it's a Vicker. Okay.
That one, yes.
That's the Vicker?
Yeah.
Wow. The back end looks like a 30. The Browning 30.
Oh, that's when the wheel comes off because of the shitty driving.
Maybe it was a Browning redress as a Vickers. Oh yeah.
Oh, Anthony
that's that mine, right? Where he steps on it.
Yes, when he wants to take a jack to flip to get the wheels of these cars, and it's rigged.
That scene had me on the edge of my seat.
I'm like, why is he using his fucking fingers and not a fucking
and he's pulling
knife?
On it.
Like a bayonet or a
the
knife.
Wire.
I'm like, your fingers are fucking thick sausages. Why are you fucking fingering around for a wire? You should be using a fucking blade.
I knew that the one that they weren't going to be hurt. I knew the other guys were going to be hurt. The Arabs.
Yeah, because they're just grabbing everything, not paying attention. It's like, you got a situation over here. So I think there was a little bit of mild mental retardation with those two.
Yeah, because with scenes like that, you have to be very careful. Booby traps and shit.
The Lost Command with Anthony
Yes,
Quinn.
Anthony Quinn. Good film. I've never seen Legionnaires in Vietnam. I have to go find that. What's the other one?
The Lost Command.
No, there was another one I thought he mentioned.
Legionnaires in Vietnam.
Hold on.
There you go.
Yeah, Algiers. Is that, or were you saying that about the previous film? Because there is a film called Algiers. It's really good. A lot of CQB in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Penny.
She's been here for a while.
I just saw her comment. It's the first time I've seen one pulled up. So yeah, he does a smart thing here and bends it.
After he almost pulls it out by pulling on that
by
wire.
thumbing his fingers around everything. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That wasn't very intelligent.
Yeah, I've seen that movie with Anthony Quinn. It's really good. Okay, I get you, Snort. By the way, commas are free, guys. You don't pay for the commas.
They're important.
They're important. So your comments aren't just a string of words. I think one of my favorite moments about that era was in the film We Were Soldiers, where it shows the French in Indochina.
That movie killed me. That was so hard to watch.
There you go. Take one.
Free commas. Snorty spying.
Yes, The Quiet American is a very good film. It deals with the Vietnam situation from a different perspective, which I really like. Good movie. Yeah, and the thing that really kills me still with non-historian people talking about the Vietnam War, it's like, well, the United States lost that war. No, we didn't. We gave up. on that war. We actually beat them so badly, we completely killed the Viet Cong. They were gone. By 1969, they're all dead. They weren't there anymore. We are now only fighting the North Vietnamese from that point forward. And we had them so destroyed, especially after Nixon took office and began bombing missions over Hanoi and into Cambodia. We destroyed their supply chain. And so the Paris peace talks, they were the first ones to sign up for that shit. Yes, we want this shit over. They're kicking our ass. So we go there. They sign the treaty with us in Paris. And then our Congress defunds the war. And so we could not enforce the treaty. And that's what happened. So for those who don't know their history, that's what happened. Oh, that is, we did that not that long ago, Snort. Go Tell the Spartans. The one with Burt Lancaster.
That was just a couple of weeks ago, I think.
I think it was a month ago. Seems like it was, yeah, it's over a month ago. I like the film a lot too, The Year of Living Dangerously. That's the film where Helen Hunt played an Asian man, dwarf.
What?
Yeah, not Helen Hunt. What's her name? Oh my God, it's Hunt. She's the on NCIS LA. She's their commander in that little tiny lady.
Hetty. What's her name? Ah, damn it.
Anyway, she played a man in that, won an Oscar for playing a man, an Asian man.
She's a great actor.
Linda Hunt.
Linda Hunt, thank you.
Linda Hunt, thank you. Yep.
She's the principal in
Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, that one.
No, I know her career. I just couldn't remember her name. This scene is so fucking intense. And I love that Nigel Davenport just fucking knocks her out. Stop wrestling. Just knock her out.
Yeah, it's a bit stupid.
Picnic at Black Rock is that's a tough film. They remade it into a miniseries years later, and I think he ended up being a producer on that. But that film is intense. That's where those girls go missing, and it's very supernatural. Yes, the German uniforms look very good in this.
I didn't know they were green.
And she's probably the most tragic character in this film.
Yep.
Definitely. She's also very not German. As far as I know, that's an American actress, but she only has one word, and it's 9 when they try to force themselves on her. She never speaks. Oh, this scene is funny.
He's got an English name, though. Vivian Pickles.
Yeah, she's not German. I looked that up. Because I was like, why doesn't she talk like at all? But yeah, this is not the fun part. The fun part is how the scene ends. When the wounded Arab shoots the guy in the ass.
Yeah, when he starts undoing his pants, she then understands what's really going on here. And Hassan, will not let that happen. So he shoots this bastard right in the ass, right in the glutes. And the next time you see her, she's bandaging the Brit's ass, and they're asking, what's going on here? And they went, nothing. Nothing.
He's going to enjoy the next leg of the journey in the Jeep, going over the rocks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he earned that fucking Purple Heart.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Johnson? It could be either one.
Oh, hey.
They wore olive drab. Yeah. Well, I am assuming that's because she probably couldn't do a proper German accent. She was there because of her look.
Well,
I saw him in the buttocks.
She was just a tool in the story.
Device.
Yeah, device. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
To add a little more tragedy.
Well, I'm going to point out the two other guys had medical bands on and they fucking blasted them. And I'm like, I wouldn't have killed both of them. I would have killed one maybe. But I would have found out which one was the best medic before I fired.
Yeah, if you steal a medic, take the best one.
You know, which one of you two are the best? Ask him in German. And the minute one pointed at the other as being the better, then shoot the one pointing. They really aren't capable of taking prisoners. And the only reason she's kept alive is because she can help. But I do love the threat that if he dies, you die.
Which ends up happening. Because he has a nasty wound.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree, Tom. And that's the movie, is Bad Day at... Is it Bad Day? What was it called? That Aussie movie by Peter Weir. Hanging Rock. Is that the name of the film?
I don't even know which movie you're talking about here.
I'm talking to Tom Baker. I'm actually planning to because I know it's going to be a good film. The trailer got me. When the trailer gets me, I know it's going to be a good film.
Which one?
Absolutely True. One of the shortest life expectancies, one of the top 3 shortest life expectancy of in the military was corpsmen. Number 1, officers. Number 2, radio operators. Number 3, medics and corpsmen.
Okay,
the corpsmen are only in the Navy and they serve with the Marines.
It's Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Picnic at Hanging Rock. That's it.
Hey, we have the Comic Relief Crusader.
Hi, Mike.
Hello, Michael. And I want to apologize. I've just been so caught up in this conversation. I forgot to draw today.
That's fine. It makes the show better because Martine and I are not that interesting or funny or whatever. And you know way more than we do.
Yeah, the story of Davenport Pass is so fucking crazy. And I think they finally figured out some of it, especially since some of the Russian records have been finally made public about it. Oh, tell them hi back for us.
Hello, Ricky.
Bonjour. Bonjour, mon ami. Bonjour. Yeah, we actually did a special with some of the other channels, and we had Julia Dye on to talk about, because Dale wasn't available; he was overseas. So we had Julia on to talk about it, even though she didn't really work on Band of Brothers. She worked on the Pacific, and we haven't done the Pacific yet. We need to talk about the Pacific, and I want to have her back on.
Oh yes, please.
That series. Well, you haven't seen it yet. You need to watch it.
We watched it.
The Pacific?
Yeah, we watched all three: Band of Brothers, The Pacific, and Masters of the Air.
Just
I remember those two. I didn't remember seeing the Pacific.
Oh, at least we watched parts of it. Because we watched a lot. So sometimes.
So, Manuel, were you here when I was shitting on Parisians? I said I love the French. I can't stand Parisians. Yeah, Rami Malek is in it. Yeah. Hey, Regis. Manuel, oh, I hate them too. I enjoyed the countryside. We stayed in a B&B outside of Paris. When I was in Paris, we stayed in a hotel right in Pigalle. And that was an experience and a half. I saw this hooker prostitute walking by, and all she was wearing was red string around her body from top to bottom. It was the most bizarre thing. I'm like,
you should tell the people how old you were, Gerry.
And my dad, I was 13. I'm standing up there at the window with a balcony, and I look down there, and I'm like, Dad, there's a girl down there only wearing string. And he walks over and goes, what? And he grabs me by the face and pulls me back into the room. You're not allowed to see that. I said, it's too late, Dad. I saw it.
I saw everything.
Yeah, that was something. And then, like, our last day there in Paris, there was a bank robbery right down the street from us. And we got to see the gendarmes out there with pistols, and it was fucking exciting. But Paris is just like, God, it's a cesspool. It really is. But got out in the country, and I really liked it. We stayed in this nice little B&B, and really nice people. I loved the French breakfast that they had there, because that's what a B&B is, bed and breakfast. And that's where I really got hooked on the bitter marmalade. Because I didn't have that in England until we went back to England after France. And I asked if they had bitter marmalade, because I was 13 years old, but I was totally into that fucking bitter marmalade. It was good. But they also had probably the sweetest of the marmalades I had was in France too. We went to Versailles, was one of my favorite places to go. And yet I can tolerate Texans. I have no problem with Texans. Yeah, they're fucked up right now. There's a lot of bad shit going on in that. Yeah, see, that's one thing that I've talked about with the French during World War II is there was a lot of Vichy French that killed and shot at Americans. And they always tone it down when they make movies.
Yeah, they like to not talk about that.
Well, it's because of our ongoing relationship with France, and we don't want to make them look too bad. But the fact is, there is a lot of shitty fucking French that absolutely took shots at us on D-Day and killed Americans. Oh, it's election day in Canadistan. Yeah, what Glenn said. That was the ones that befriended and stuck with and fought with the Germans against the Allies. But I love France, man. I love the countryside. And I got to tell you, I went to the Hall of Mirrors there in Versailles. Oh, it's really beautiful. That whole place. Even though the Treaty of Versailles was bullshit. The Treaty of Versailles was bullshit.
Well, it started a lot of shit.
It started World War II.
Yep.
Now, in this scene, it made me wonder if they used some of the extras and vehicles from the Westerns that were shooting at the same time here then. Because of the wagons and shit.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
And I want to point out again, all that dune warfare you saw in this movie, they had 4 dunes.
Full of horses.
And they had to shoot a lot of low angles for those scenes in order to make it look like they were in the middle of the Saharan desert. Oh, I love French cuisine. Oh my God.
They know how to cook.
And isn't the French fry, the chip, actually from Belgium?
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't it Belgian? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
because Kevin Klein gets it wrong.
We shouldn't call them French fries. We should call them the Van Damme fries, right, Tom Baker?
I remember some assholes here in America were like, "We'll call them freedom fries." I'm like, "Oh, fuck off with that. There's no French fries and shit." Or if you're English, they're chips. Yeah, you were the one that mentioned that. Yeah, I think that's really cool. So Kevin Klein got it wrong in Fish Called Wanda when he said it's the one contribution by the French to cuisine, the French fry or the chip.
He didn't say one thing right in that movie.
No, all of his information is fucking wrong. It's great. We should do that film again. I love that movie so much. Call it
Wanda.
Fish Called Wanda Revisited. I was impersonating two for an Elton John concert.
Coming to
bad then. God knows what it's like
I
now.
would absolutely like to do it.
I was there in 77. So like 5 years before that, Glenn. And it was pretty shitty when I was there. We went into this one hole-in-the-wall restaurant there in Pigalle. Because Dad had that book, Father's How to Live on $5 a Day in Europe. And we had that book, and he would find restaurants. And we went to this restaurant, this French restaurant. And I swear to God, I thought at any moment there was going to be a murder in that restaurant between the husband and wife yelling at each other in this restaurant. And I'm like, oh my God, someone's going to get stabbed or shot. So
they're probably just having a normal conversation.
Yeah, normal fucking day to them. But
bye, Penny.
Bye, Penny. We'll see you later. Have a good lunch.
I thought that in Croatia at first. Why are they always arguing and angry with each other? And they were talking about football, so of course they were emotional.
Oh.
That was before I understood the language.
Oh, the first McDonald's in London, I went to eat at it, and the food tasted weird. The only thing that tasted right was the French fries. But like I ordered a Big Mac, and I couldn't even finish it. I'm like, it tastes like meatloaf. I do not like that. It's like, but you like meatloaf. I said, yeah, when I want meatloaf, not when I want a Big Mac. When I want a Big Mac, I want to taste the Big Mac. Dad couldn't understand my logic as a 13-year-old. I'm like, no, I love meatloaf. I just don't want to eat meatloaf when I'm expecting a Big Mac. It's weird. Hey, Gambit says, "Bye, Penny, bye, sugar bumps." We all love her. She's awesome. La Rochelle. Chips were invented in England in the 1860s. The Belgian version were fried potatoes, not chipped. Okay. That's interesting. What? Okay. I like chips. That led in the United States, the English chip led to what we call steak fries here. And I prefer steak fries over regular French fries any day of the week.
I think we call them wedges.
Well, then they also have another thing called wedges here, which are baked, breaded, and then fried. And
no, our wedges are just,
on it, and I don't like those.
Our wedges are just cut up potatoes, usually with the skin still on, and then you fry them. Nothing breaded on it.
You like quarter them or something? Are you quartering them?
Depends on how big the potato is. The bigger ones, you will have to do more than just quarter them.
It's not Scottish unless you cover it in either tomato or brown sauce. And I've had haggis, by the way, and I liked it. I'll never eat it again because I know what it is, and it grosses me out. But I did eat it, and it tasted yummy. Sometimes I got to tell you, man, it's a meal by itself. But I remember getting fish and chips in all over England, served in real newspaper, and then they stopped doing that because there's lead in the
ink. Yeah.
It's like, that ink sounds really good for you, so we're gonna make fake newspaper that's actually just food safe wrapping paper. Yeah, if it's not Scottish, it's crap. What was that? Patrick Stewart and Michael Myers. Well, I'm sure they probably fixed it later, but man, I'm going to tell you, in '77, that English Big Mac was awful. In London, though, England, all over England, whenever they had it available, I would either eat steak and kidney pie, or I would have doner kebabs. And all a doner kebab is a gyro. It's the Turkish version of the gyro. This guy was a hell of an actor right there, Davenport.
Interesting.
So takeaways are called suppers. It's sort of a slang way of saying takeaway. Okay, I got you.
Oh
yeah, I'm glad you guys left the EU too. They're also using you guys as their bank because you guys had a more stable currency.
The euro was a mistake. You cannot take a bunch of countries that are so different economically and give them the same currency.
Yeah, I know the idea behind it was to try to treat it like the United States, but it's not united the way we are. It's different. They wanted us to stop making beer, Yanks.
What?
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
Oh, I understand what you're saying. So suppers is fish and chips. Okay. That's cool. And Emmanuel agrees with you, Anima. Hey, Emmanuel, what do you think? Do you think it's awesome that she's marrying an American? What are your thoughts, yours and Regis's, of her marrying me? Don't talk, anybody. We're waiting for Emmanuel's response. He's like, hell yeah.
You have no idea how complicated this is. I wish we could do it the other way around and you come to Europe.
Yeah, but I don't see. It's like I'm my disability and all that shit.
I know.
Lose all that.
It's never been a possibility, but I'm telling you, I'm giving up all my money for this shit. They're charging you ridiculously.
I have paid for 40 years into that, and I want my fucking retirement.
Well, mine's fucked up anyway.
Yeah, this is a fucked up scene. And it breaks your heart because you see these two guys no matter what that one British dude does, I hate the way he gets killed. He gets killed right after him. And these German just shoots him. He's not even going to wait for him to get out and surrender. He just fucking kills him. But that also follows true with the SAS. It was execute on capture. That was from Adolf himself, that SAS were not to be captured. Compliment? What compliment did I give? I don't remember complimenting anything.
Snorty says we need Anima to civilize him.
You need a cattle prod, Anima.
I know.
I have been hit with cattle prods, and that's not fun.
No, I'm going to put one of those dog collars on him where I can electroshock him when he's misbehaving.
Yeah, right. There you go. Hit a button.
Yep.
Yeah, right about I'm about to say something fucked up, and
no, slapping him is way more fun.
It's like Zoe was not the first, but she was the last to cattle prod me, because Mac handed her the cattle prod and told her to go in and touch my foot with it and push the button. And so she came in, and I'm playing a video game with my bare feet up on my table, just chilling, playing some Xbox. She came in and did that. My fucking controller went in the air. I went, ah, fuck. And I jumped up and I looked at her, and she ran out of running out of the room. And I see Max standing there with the big shit-eating grin. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. And later, I didn't say it that time. It was the incident at Walmart when she pantsed me in the middle of the men's clothing department. She pulled my shorts down. And I pulled my pants up and didn't say anything to her. And I said, now, honey, don't do that. And then I grabbed him very firmly with these fingers digging in right here. And I whispered loudly to him, don't fucking use my kid to prank me. She's not your plaything. She has to respect her dad, and you're teaching her not to. He never did it again.
Good.
And I was surprised because he's really big about respecting dads, that he did that to me. And I'm like, twice. And I'm like, motherfucker, don't use my fucking kid to prank me. I will probably never do that because the director added the gay scene in, and the person, I forget his name. Oh, I forget the guy's name. The true story guy said that never happened. There was no relationship with me. He says they threatened to RAPE me, but it never happened. He escaped before something could happen. It was part of the reason why he wanted to get the fuck out of there, because of the threats. And so I will watch the film, but I don't know if I'll ever cover it, Gambit. I don't know. Because I remember going to see that with my dad at the drive-in theater as a double feature, and that was one of the films. And I didn't react to that well as a kid. I was like, I don't like that movie. It's weird. But it's because of that film I became aware of an actor named Paul Smith, which Anima knows who that is because he's been in a lot of European films. And Paul Smith is the big burly guy. He's in Popeye. He played Bluto.
Oh, that one, yeah.
That big guy. And I think he's been in a lot of Italian movies because he did the.
The word you're looking for, Gerry, is large. He's large.
He's big. He's large.
No, he's large. That's all she says.
He's big in Europe. He's a large man.
No, I'm referring to the movie. She calls him large because that's all she has to say about him.
Olive Oil calls him large. Yeah. And he's large.
Nothing else to say about him.
Created so much anger when it came out, and it pissed off thousands of Turks all over the world. Oh, of course it did. It's and it's, if you watch David Lean's Lawrence of Arabia, they toned that movie down for the Turks because It has been said that he was RAPED by that colonel, that Turkish colonel, which is why they show him do what he does and he shuts the door and goes back in there. And you're like, oh, is he going to torture him? It's like, yeah, he's going to torture him in their way, which RAPE was used by some militaries as a form of torture. It really was. Bud Spencer, that's him. Thank you. I love Bud Spencer, man. But yeah, Bud Spencer and he are a lot alike. Big, gravelly voice, fat guys, or large guys, as Olive Oil would say. Not to be confused with the three recent Popeye. Yeah, Toth, like I've been asked, am I going to watch any of those? I went, no. Because like my buddy Mark, I've got to do a show with him tonight with Don Ecker on KGRA. And he sends me a lot of movies to watch. And I'm like, I do not want to watch that movie. It's like, I don't like these movies. The Winnie the Pooh horror films. This new one that's on about Steamboat Willie. I don't want to see that one, that horror film. I don't know. I think they're funny, the idea of them, but I don't want to watch them. I'm not interested in watching that kind. I like more mature humor. I like juvenile humor. Don't get me wrong. That's why I love Steve Martin. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Paul Smith and Bud looked a lot alike, and I confused them. In fact, I bet you I'm conflating him because I think it's Bud Spencer that did the movies, the Trinity films and stuff with the blonde-haired,
Yes.
blue-eyed Italian actor. I think that's Bud Spencer.
Yeah.
I was doing it
Terence
again,
Hill.
conflating
Terence
him.
Hill and Bud Spencer.
Yeah. Love Terence Hill, man. And I love the Trinity films. And he did that one with Henry Fonda that was really good, where Henry Fonda is the old gold gunslinger. That was a good movie. I want to watch that again. Yeah, welcome to the end of the... Yeah, I need to redub that and do welcome to the end of the film.
That would be fun.
So, but this movie, it's here at the end now. Let's get back to this, because this is, in many ways, I fucking hate this ending.
I do too.
And yet it's a good ending, but I really fucking hate it. Because he makes it a point he says, do you want to walk out there with your pistol on you? And he takes it off, drops his knife, and he grabs the stick with the little piece of white cloth on it. They go walking out. Well, he goes to walk out first, and then he looks back at him. He says, are you coming? And he drops his weapons.
And they have their arms in the air.
They got their hands up. They only take them down momentarily, right at the end. Right before they get shot, the hands go down. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that Brit didn't see that.
Yeah, the Brits say that. I didn't see the white flag. Bullshit.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't see the white flag. He says, well, don't do it again. And then they walk off, and that's the end of the fucking movie. And I'm like, what a bullshit ending.
Yeah.
You know, they could have done a really good fucking ending to this. And they chose that. I think it's a lazy fucking ending. I got to be honest.
It is.
He doesn't get his fucking medal, and the other guy does. And I hate that she gets shot. This guy is dying, and he knows he's dying. And so before he dies, he pulls the trigger and shoots her and kills her. My Name is Nobody. I love that fucking movie. And that's the one. Isn't that the one with Henry Fonda in it? My Name is Nobody.
Yes, that's the one.
That's the one. I saw that with my dad in the theater. I fucking love that movie. Also, by the way, I prefer watching foreign films with the subtitles because they often get the voices wrong. And I did not like the American dubbed version of that film. I mean, you hear Henry Fonda, but Terence Hill's character has like the worst voice. So here it is. They have been betrayed by command. They're being allowed to be killed. They gave away all the information to tell them where they were, which is why the Germans knew them by name that night, calling out their names. And you see Leach's character shake his head and mumble something, which is he knows they betrayed him. Oh man, fuck. And so they wake up the next morning and the British are there, and they start walking around with the flag. And that's an odd one right here. That's a blue screen shot. So this is something they filmed later at Elstree Studios. So a lot of people don't know. A lot of the interior scenes and stuff like this were shot in Elstree.
Could it be that they had a different ending and then they made this one?
I don't know. There's not enough information about this that I found. So I couldn't find much. And I think that was an American tank, by the way. But we did supply the British with some American tanks. It's true, we did. So it's not like it's bad. You coming? He's like, yeah, I guess I am. I would have taken the blouses off too. One, it's fucking hot. So take those off, take the headgear off. So I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, look at that.
And right here, right there, they slowly lower their flags, the flag in their hands, and immediately are shot.
Bullshit.
And this limey prick walks up and fucking... I'm sorry, sir. I didn't see the flag, white flag. Well, don't do it again. What a fucking lame ending to this film. I should be, I know. If you do that again, I shall be very cross with you. What the fuck?
I mean, you go through 2 fucking hours with them on that journey, and then they get killed like that in the end. Very unsatisfying.
Just smoked unceremoniously by their own people, and they're unaware that they're their people. And it's just, that's a fucked up ending. It kind of pisses me off that they did that, and I bet you it didn't have that ending in the original script. I would love to see the original script.
That script got screwed over.
Because even Michael Caine said that the script they shot is not the script he was shown. He only stuck with the film because of his relationship with Harry Saltzman. He did? I did not know that. I was unaware of that, dude.
Sometimes we learn too on these shows.
Well, here's a neat little tidbit. And it's one of the things that made me like Henry Fonda, because Henry Fonda was a World War II vet, worked with naval intelligence, and he worked directly with a lot of the French and Dutch underground. And the guy saw some action. But he was a big liberal, and Jimmy Stewart was like a big conservative. Good friends with John Wayne, but they didn't even agree politically. He was a different kind of conservative, probably more like me, because I'm socially liberal and fiscally conservative. And the two are best friends. And a lot of people don't know that Jimmy Stewart and Henry Fonda were best fucking friends, like best friends. Like they hung out together a lot. And what they would do is, and I can't remember if it was Jimmy Stewart that owned the shop or if it was Henry Fonda's. And they would go hang out in this shop together behind the house. And they would build models together. And they wouldn't talk for sometimes an hour or two. They just enjoyed being in each other's company.
I can see us doing that.
Well, that's the way I am. That's how I was with Mac. Mac and Ultra both, because like the two of those would like hang out with me all the time, and I didn't really feel like talking all the time. People always go like, because I'm of my silliness, they'll ask like women that have relationships with me. They'll go, "Is he like that all the time?" And then they will go, "Oh no, he's really different at home. He's quiet." I'm that guy that that kills somebody.
He's also nice.
And then people get interviewed like. What was he like? He's really quiet. He kept to himself. But I'm not that way. I'm a very friendly person. And but the fact is, I prefer not to interact with people. And I like even after Anima and I hang out, I still have to socialize. I got to make myself go socialize. And I go socialize with Brad a lot. I'll go sit outside in the living room for like 15, 20 minutes.
Brad is a quiet guy too.
I know, and I like that.
Much.
So we just talked for a few minutes. And I went, okay, I've socialized enough. I'll see you later. And I'll come back into my room. Fonda talking about Leon. No, Henry, no makeup or fake eye lenses. I want your baby blue eyes for that fucking bastard. Oh yeah, he's a child killer in that film. Yes, he is. He's a mean, and people didn't think that Henry could do that. Play a mean son of a bitch. Could play a mean son of a bitch. When he was massacring people. Good movies. I think you mean good movies? You don't get them you get a lot of movies. Good movies are hard to find. And studio films are some of the worst sinners when it comes to quality filmmaking.
Thankfully,
some of the best films
good TV.
Today. Well, we're seeing some good TV today. Oh wait, Glenn says, methinks Gerry protests too much, my lord.
I don't know what he means.
I don't know, probably about being quiet. I don't know, because I am quiet in my alone time. I am just good. I am what's referred to as an INFJ personality type. I can be mistaken for extrovert because I'm so friendly and jovial and joke a lot and talk. But then I have to go off by myself for an hour or two to re-energize because I don't. Unlike extroverts, I get all my energy from me, and I don't get any energy from other people. I don't want it, and I can tell when I'm around somebody who's draining me, and it makes me get really quiet.
Energy that.
Yeah, and they don't mean to be. It's not like they're bad people. It's just it's what they are, and they sap energy, and then I have to go be alone. There on screen.
Right. Now that made me think of Colin Robinson. The energy
Colin
vampire.
Robinson, the emotional vampire. I can't believe that show's still going. I think the last season wasn't very good. They started getting a little woke.
Yeah.
On the show, and it started getting annoying. You can't be woke and funny. So, all right, let's thank everybody for being here. We got Emmanuel, Regis was here too, Mephisto, Glenn Fleming, Penny, Bill Barkley, Snortopupus Cuber, Todd Jones, not to be mistaken with Tom Jones. It's not unusual for Todd Jones. Joe's atmosphere, that's a Tom Jones joke. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tom, like, come on. Jesus Christ.
I know.
You heathens. Anyway, Snortopupus Cuber, Joe's Atmosphere, Gambit 1987, Tom Baker, Christian Delorme's Vinyl Revival. And he wore a shirt last night. That's really nice. Sander Hammerschlag, the Comic Relief Crusader. Thanks, guys, for popping in. It was really good to see Regis pop in and say hi. I hope you guys are doing well. It is. And I don't know if I'm a good conversationalist, but I am clear when I speak. I'm always shocked when somebody misunderstands me. And because I used to have a habit of beating a dead horse. Like, are you understanding me? Finally, people start going, yes, I understood you the first time. I'm like, then why didn't you say that? Instead of like me having to feel like you're not getting what I'm saying, you blank stare on your fucking face. Military changed me. Yeah, I became more direct because of the military. Yeah, everybody's walking around with their phones and don't pay attention. That's annoying as shit to me. I'm off to watch Storm Chasers. Big day today of them in Iowa tornadoes, possibly. Hopefully not here in Missouri. I get tired of them here. We had we lost internet, as you know. We lost internet because we had a nasty storm roll through here, and it pulled the cable loose, and water got inside the cable, and we lost internet. They had to replace the entire cable, the exterior cable that attaches us to our satellite dish.
Yeah, you were off the internet for almost 2 days. That sucked.
It really sucked. So, but anyway, I hope everybody had a good time. It was fun hanging out. I didn't do any drawing today. I need to do some today. So I'm going to get out of here, guys, and everybody have a great day today. Happy Monday, and I hope it's a good one. We will see you guys on Wednesday. I don't know about Tuesday because Martin hasn't heard back from the chief yet. So we'll find out. But you'll definitely see us on Wednesday. And what are we doing Wednesday?
Oh, we don't have
we set up
yet.
No, we haven't set up Wednesday.
We don't have nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, but I made suggestions and set graphics. Nothing?
No. You only send graphics for Military Monday.
So, well, in the immortal words of MC Hammer.
Skibbity, 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 spin. Stop! Hammer time!
There you go.
God.
We're out of here, guys.
That's all, folks.
Y'all come back now. You hear?